Welcome to the Language of Abundance, part 1 of 3. Why and how language matters and what to watch out for. First, I'm going to talk about why language matters and why it's so important for you to get this part right. Then I'm going to dive into one really important reframe around language. I'll share a little bit about my personal story, and then I'm going to share with you some of the biggest issues and things to watch out for in your own language. I'll be sharing 5 language patterns that are completely disempowering and disconnecting from yourself and others. First, why does language even matter? Well, it matters for a lot of reasons, but I'm going to focus on 2. The first is probably more obvious than the second, which is that language reflects consciousness. Meaning, your language is a reflection of your true beliefs. And when we speak, especially when we speak in a way that's not very intentional, when we speak without a lot of presence or focus, when we're just like chatting, we can often reveal a lot about what we really believe, and it can be a window into our subconscious. So language matters because if we're expressing certain things to others and to the world, we're not even fully conscious or aware of them, there's something in the language that can give us clues as to our true belief systems and what we're really creating. Which leads me to my second point, which is language also matters because as you're speaking, you're not just reflecting your internal belief system and truth, you're also creating it. You're reinforcing it. As you speak, you also listen and you are reprogramming your mind. This is why so much of personal development is built around mantras and statements and speaking into new ideas and new possibilities for yourself, because language is not just a communication tool, it's actually a programming tool as well. I used to have a slide in one of my original keynotes that said, change your words, change your world. And recently I saw that my friend Phil M. Jones, he wrote the book Exactly What to Say, The Magic Words of Influence and Impact. And Phil Jones, who by the way is going to be coming on my channel soon, I'm so excited to bring him to you. He says, change your words, change the world. So really, language has the power to change everything, our own experience of life and also what we're creating out in the world. So now let's talk about a complete reframe of language. I should speak for myself, I used to look at language as just, you just speak, you talk, you communicate, you connect with other people. And what I want to bring awareness to is for this type of work that we're doing here, like the language of abundance, the language of creation, the language that creates worlds, we want to really slow down and get present with language. We want to be speaking and listening at the same time, and that takes something. Most of us, including me, tend to just chat, and speak sometimes before we even think. So what I want to bring awareness to very first and foremost is the pace of your speaking, of your communication, slowing it down, taking breaths. And believe me, I have to remind myself about this. You've probably noticed that in my videos. I tend to get excited and go off quick. And so what I'm bringing awareness to is slowing down, getting clear, and getting present. The things to watch out for, the things I want you to be noticing as you slow down and get really present with your own language. Number 1 is noticing where you speak in absolutes. Absolutes reflect very fixed and deep-seated beliefs. So for example, as you're listening to yourself speaking, if you say things like, I always, I never, you always, you never, men always, men never, women always, women never, right? Whenever you speak in absolutes, that something is always happening or never happening, or you're making some sort of, when you do that, you are making some sort of claim about truth. And a lot of times, I would say most of the time, those claims about truth are not actually true. That's because the world tends to be full of a lot of gray area, and most things don't operate in such extreme polarities. And extreme polarities and absolutes generally are ways that separate people. Good, bad, right, wrong, this, that, red, blue. So polarity is a consciousness that separates and divides. And so when our language is polarized, is in absolutes in that way, then we're generally separating and dividing, right? So want to bring room for gray areas, bring room for maybes, sometimes, often. I sometimes notice this. I'm like just bringing in the possibility of it not being an absolute can often be an opening in your consciousness. Now, before I get into the second thing, I almost forgot to invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you'll post a comment or two below. Now, the second thing to watch out for is victim language. Victim language, it can be a lot of different things, and it pretty much permeates so much of our culture. The way to watch out for it for yourself, this is a pretty common one, is when you say things like, he made me feel this. She made me feel that. The situation made me feel whatever. So he makes me angry. She drives me crazy. These are really common phrases. We hear them all the time to the point where we don't even notice them. And notice what they actually say. What they actually say is that the power, your power lies outside of you. That your power to be sane or crazy, for example, lies in that person's hands. And literally what you're saying, what's implied in that is that you are at the mercy of, you are the victim of that person or that situation or that experience. So just bringing awareness to the language of when you do that, you give up your power. Another thing that people use a lot that's disempowering, that's victim language, is I can't. I'll give you an example. I had a client who, I'll not share her name, but she wouldn't mind even if I did. She left me a message one day. She said, hey, Michelle, I just can't attend our call today. I'm so busy. I've got all this stuff going on and I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm going to miss our call. I can't make it. I can't. I just can't. And I wrote her back and I said, hey, listen, that's fine that you're not coming. And I invite you to listen to your message again and just notice all the times you said, I can't. And I invite you to choose a more empowering way to express that you won't be attending the call. And she wrote back to me, she was like, oh my God, I didn't even notice that I did that. So she did it over again. She said, hey, Michelle, today I'm choosing to prioritize these projects that I've committed to instead of coming to our call. I'm sorry to miss it. I'll listen to the recording and thanks for understanding. Completely different energy being shared from the energy of I can't versus the energy of I choose to prioritize this other thing. Much more empowering. The third thing to watch out for is the dishonoring of yourself in your language. Now, this is also really common, and this is a way I think that people try to connect with other people is by dismissing themselves, insulting themselves, downplaying their gifts, and trying to not be too much with people. And so they say things like, maybe this is a stupid question, but, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and whatever. So the dishonoring of oneself. Another thing I've heard people say is like, oh, I'm so ADD, I'm so crazy, or I'm so this, or I'm so that. And they wear their weaknesses like this badge of honor, right? Like putting it out there and almost like reveling in the dishonoring of themselves. And I just want to bring awareness to that. What would it look like if instead you said of, I can't do this, or I'm terrible at that, or I never make it anywhere on time, or whatever. You said, I'm mastering the art of this thing that you're struggling with. I'm mastering the art of time management. I'm mastering the art of making more money in my business. I'm mastering the art of not procrastinating anymore, or I'm mastering the art of managing my time more effectively, right? Like, what would it look like to, instead of dishonor yourself about the things that you don't do well, instead honor yourself for the attempts that you're making to do it better? And again, this is a way of empowering yourself and fueling the aspects of life and being that you want to fuel. A fourth thing that people do is what I call freezing other people in certain ways of being. For example, she is this, he is that, she is a narcissist, he is a womanizer, right? Whatever these terms where we apply them to people and we reduce them, they're reductive, we reduce them to that thing, to that way of being. When we do that, we freeze them in a certain identity and we don't give them room to evolve and grow. So we often do that to the people we love the most. Like, my mom is this way, my brother is that way, my dad is this way. And when we do that, we often tend to freeze them in a way of being. And then because our language has done that and our concept of them is this certain way, they don't have room to evolve beyond that way of being. The fifth word that I want you to watch out for, and the final piece of this puzzle today, before we move on to part 2, is the word should. The word should is one of the most dangerous words on the planet. And that is because it generally means that we cannot possibly ever live up to some created ideal that we've made up in our brains. I should be waking up earlier. I should be exercising every single day. I should. Tony Robbins always says you're shoulding all over yourself. But it's true. And the thing about the word should is not that you don't want to wake up earlier. It's not that you don't want to work out. Like, these things might actually be things that you really want to do and that would be really supportive of your life. The problem is the energy that the word should brings to your life. It's the I'll never be there, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough energy. So I invite you to find more empowering language instead of should. I want to, I get to, I'd love to. These are all way more empowering relationships with that thing that you actually want to do. Okay, that's my 5 watch outs for this video and why your language matters. In the next part 2, we're going to talk about how to empower your language to create a whole new reality.